people in Carthage always thought of Daddy as the most forgetful guy in the world. They said one time Daddy went to Nashville and absolutely forgot he'd taken Neil with him, Mama with him, and he forgot her and left her down there. Well, I don't know if that happened or not, but knowing Daddy, he probably had a million things on his mind. He ran for county road commissioner, and the other fellow running against him, he said Bill Joe, of course, wouldn't remember which road to fix or which road to do this. He wouldn't remember anything. So he lost the run for county road commissioner. Daddy's, I guess, first love was he and a fellow from up in around Gainesboro. They went to Washington to the REA, Rural Electrification people. They borrowed $250,000 and went up there and got approval, and they bought a little small electric company, wasn't anything. And they started to become Electric Membership Corporation, which y'all are familiar with, and it grew, and Daddy became the chairman of the board, of which he served 40 years. And what he really enjoyed is in all the meetings and all the places they went, he went to every state in the Union except 3, and he was always so proud of it. So he literally used to have to go out and sell people on the idea of having electricity. They just didn't believe they needed electricity. They had a kerosene lamp, had wood stove, they didn't need, but he'd sell them on the idea, and so he finally sold enough people on having electricity. But he'd still go, when he was chairman, he'd hear about somebody that had an emergency or something. It was an old lady over at Lancaster. Now, people used to have a yard that was just plain dirt. It would not be any grass in it at all, and then right at the edge of the dirt, just like that, their weeds would be up. So people used to sweep the yard. This old lady was sweeping her yard, and a big rattlesnake came out of the weeds and hung her in the leg and bit her real bad. And she was laid up in bed, and so Daddy went over to visit her to see if there's anything he could do for her. And he said, well, Miss Berry, is there anything I can do for you? And she said, no, Mr. Bill, I'm okay. He said, well, how'd everything go? And said, well, I was out there sweeping, and that big old rattlesnake just bit me in the leg. And he said, well, what did it do for you? And she said, well, all my neighbors came over and brought some moonshine whiskey, how'd everything go? And said, well, the snake didn't bother me, but said that moonshine whiskey might near kill me. Their building used to be there on Main Street in Carthage, and then they decided they'd build a new building over in South Carthage, and they called me and told me they were going to call it the Bill Jellicourse Building. I thought, well, that'd be proper, I guess, since he had started the thing and been chairman of the board for 40 years. Later on, the manager of the board called me, and he said, Tommy, he said, we're not going to be able to call that building the Bill Jellicourse Building. And I said, well, why not? You said you were going to. He said, well, Mr. Bill was the only one on the board that voted against the new building. He just wanted to spend that money to improve the services that we got. He didn't think we needed a new building. So the new building went up, and of course it was not called the Bill Jellicourse Building. I was really heartbroken over that because Daddy deserved it. He really did. He worked 40 years at that, deserved the name there. Daddy died April 26, 1983.